Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. I get so excited, when it's Saturday. Well, nervous slash excited. Like, I love coming on Saturday. I love Saturdays at 1 p.m. because I get to come and I talk to other remnants, bring other remnants on the conversation so we can talk and just get to know, blah, blah, blah. So here we are again.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, every remnant out there showing up. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for the sharing. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for putting the word out there about speaking our truth. And here we are, another conversation. And I am so excited because today, with the whole back to school theme, I said, why not bring on some of our remnants mom to come on here and see how basically how are you all doing? How are you all doing? So, ladies, thank you so much, Tiffany, Josie, and Shadiki, for joining me today. And here we go. We're talking about parenting, okay, and the different hats that we wear. And I know, like with me and juggling the homeschooling, juggling remnants, juggling my full-time job, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I know that there are other moms out there. I know that you ladies on here are going through the same thing. So I want you all to introduce yourselves, right? Yeah, we see that your names on there. We know that you're moms, right? So I want you to introduce yourselves by briefly telling us, how many children you have, right? And let's go with what your other roles are. Briefly tell us what those other hats are that you're juggling and how many children. Shadiki, you go ahead first.
I knew you were going to choose me, Nora. All right, my name is Shadiki Harris, and I have four children, two boys, two girls, ages three. Excuse my voice, by the way, because I've been really teaching and children. We'll talk about that later. So I have two boys, two girls. I have 3-year-old, a 6-year-old, 8-year-old, and a 10-year-old. And some of my hats, I am a teacher as well. And so I currently teach fourth grade. And I also teach children's ministry at my church as well. So, yeah. Hi. You're muted,
Yeah,
Nora. Yeah.
I know. There we go. Already. Jojo, you can go ahead. You're up next. Now,
Did you say me, Nora, or did you say
I
Tiffany? Oh,
said
you did say
no.
me.
Jojo.
Oh, sorry.
Listen,
No,
it's
yeah.
technology. Listen, we're all. This is a new way of life. We're learning to communicate through a computer screen. It's all good. You
Oh
know what
my
I mean?
God.
Like
I'm telling you.
that's part of the challenge too. The new way of communicating, and it's all.
Mhm.
So my name's Josie Ann, and I have three children. I have a 12-year-old, I have a 9-year-old, and a 3-year-old. And yes, we're gonna make it happen.
Okay. Uh-huh. What are those? What are those other
I
things
was
that
gonna
you
say,
got?
okay, yeah. So I just recently launched my coaching business. Coaching business.
Oh wow.
And the coaching business is to help empower women, to help. Honestly, it birthed from my experience of being a mom, and I wanted moms to reclaim their identity and their purpose in the midst of being a mother and everything that's all else that's going on in life. So yes.
Nice. Nice.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Go ahead, Tiff.
All right, I have two children, a 14-year-old and a 3-year-old. My daughter's 14, my son is 3, and I own a hair salon. I'm a student at Essex County College, and I'm doing
Nice.
a whole bunch of other things too. But
Nice.
mostly I'm
What's
a
the
hair.
name? Go ahead,
What
Tiff.
you say?
Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. What you say?
No, I was gonna ask. What's the tell everyone the name of your salon?
Oh, it's called Tiffany's Hair Studio and Spa. It's in Belleville. So yeah.
Nice. Nice.
Hmm.
Okay, so we're gonna get into it now, ladies. Feel free to vent. Feel free to let it all out here on this conversation because I want other moms out there to know that we're not alone, right?
Yeah.
That they're not alone, that this thing is real. How is the whole schooling going? How's the new schooling, the transitions, the new norm, the virtual? I don't know if some of your children are going hybrid. How is that? How is all of that so far? Especially compared to March. Remember back in March when we were hit with this at first and everyone had to stay home? How is the whole transition now in the new school year compared to then?
For myself, I would say, I thank God I have a 14-year-old and 3-year-old, but my 3-year-old is not obligated to be on a computer. My 14-year-old, she's like, it was a little rough in the beginning, like the first weekend I have school. But now that she sees, okay, I have to buckle down. This is not just one big long weekend. I have to time my work and I can't go hang out. I'm in high school and she's a freshman, so it's a lot more work.
Nice.
There's more deadlines. I'm realizing that her school, they're not really with the expectations of the kids. They still expect their work turn in on time. They don't have COVID.
I wonder, even while you're talking, like I was thinking, I wonder if there are students and moms having the issue that we're experiencing right now. Like, because Tiffany, as you're speaking, you're like breaking. I don't know if it is it just me. Does anyone else hear that you're breaking up, Tiffany, when you're?
I'm breaking up.
Yeah, as you're.
Maybe I don't know. My connection is strong. Let me see. Hold on. Yeah, that happens often too.
Yeah,
Bad connections all the time.
or no connections.
Right.
Go ahead. While Tiffany is handling that, Shadiki or Tiffany, go ahead.
I will say that, okay, we were able, back in March was a whole new thing that was extremely stressful because we were like adjusting to everything that was going on, and it was at the height of everything that was going on. And then we had to learn to teach our kids in a whole new way or help our kids learn in a whole new way. So now going back into the new school year, we have a little bit more experience, but it didn't take away the same frustrations and the same still adjusting to everything that's going on. Because the first week of school, I felt overwhelmed with all the information because we're literally getting emails every single day updating us on what's going on. And sometimes so much information becomes very overwhelming, So I would say it's still challenging. In that same first week of school, it was my husband's birthday. It was my 3-year-old's birthday. And I was trying to do all of that at the same time. And like you say, put work into my business. So it does become overwhelming, but it's an adjusting process. Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about it. Go ahead, Shadiki.
Yeah, I think it's a little different for me because I'm like on both sides of the fence. It's like I am a teacher and I am a parent. And so, I mean, in March, it was definitely like, okay, we got to go home. We got to figure this out. But then now it's like we're on the computer longer. And so my kids are on pretty much all day now, pretty much like the same schedule they had when they were in school. Their school decided to do that. My school is a little bit different. We get out a little bit earlier. And so right now it's just everybody have their own separate space. I remember in the when we first did it, it was like, oh my gosh, you need to go over there on the other side of the room. You need to go over there. And so thankfully now my husband just bought some like individual desks for them and some little chairs. So now everybody have their own corner. Now everything, because I mean, it was just, I put them all at the one table and it was just like, no. I'm like, you know what? I can't. You go over there. You go over there. So now it's a little bit more like, okay, now we got this. You got your little table. You can go over there. But as a teacher, and sometimes I'm teaching And then my little first grader, he comes in, mommy, and I'm like in the middle of my lesson, and I'm like, excuse me, guys, hold on a minute, mute. Yes, what do you need?
Right.
And then
Right.
I'm like back to teacher mode again. So it's like, how do you balance it all, but just not, you're not hiding everything because they're seeing everything.
Yeah.
But it's just, I still have to be a mom and a teacher at the same time, you know, but it's
Wow.
been pretty good. It's just balancing everything. You just have to just balance it out. Yeah.
Mm. I'm glad you mentioned that because it's like one of the things that's
It's crazy.
definitely happening is the need for people to be patient with each other. You were mentioning
Mhm.
how while I'm doing the conversations, the children sometimes they're in the back, they're running around, knocking on the door, they're trying to video bomb or whatever you call it, and it's like we can't help but to like excuse some things. I know during, like I mentioned, I work full time, so during one of there are like these sessions that are done virtually on Wednesdays where the C suite of the company catches up with everybody, catches the
Mhm.
company up on events. And so one day during this meeting, the daughter pops in, like the daughter pops in the room, talks to the mom, asks the mom question, and she's like, excuse me, and she's talking to them, and she's like, listen, I'm a mom first. Like,
Right.
and
Right.
I had to commend her for that because it's like, listen, I get it. We have to be proper and all that, but I'm sorry, with all this that's going on, I can't help but to be who I am first, and that is a mom. And so, Shadika, you mentioned balancing,
Yes.
Mhm.
right? And I know that there are other mompreneurs out there that are also balancing as well. What are how is it that you do it? Is it that you intentionally take time for yourselves? What are those things that each of you do that help you kind of balance all the hats that you're wearing?
For me, I would say first is admitting that most of the time you're unbalanced,
Right.
right?
I
It's
agree.
okay to admit that you don't always have it all together.
Mm,
And for me, running the business and then being home, it's all new for us, having our children at home. My kids are doing hybrid, so they're out of the house 2 half days a week. That's not enough. That's just not enough. So I'm learning how to balance. And to, like you said, for me, the balance is taking one day at a time and trying to have a schedule. Like she said, the two of my kids are older, so they can work on their own. My
Mhm.
9-year-old, I still have to help him because he chooses which assignments he wants to do.
yeah.
So I still have to be on top of that. So I mean, yes, we can learn. We are learning how to balance, but it's okay to say sometimes you just don't have it all figured out. And I'm trying
Yeah.
to get it all figured out. Yeah.
Mm. Let me ask, Shadiki, you mentioned that you're a teacher, fourth grade teacher, right? Um, I wanted to, there was a question, there's something that just came to my mind. What do the students look like that you teach? Like what is going on with them as far as like their attention span, or do you notice anything different from the students with everything that's going on? Are you picking up on anything? Oh, we can't hear you, Shadiki.
For one, yes, because now they have to be on the computer longer. And so, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm used to just, oh, just go do this. I unmuted. You can't hear me?
We can hear you now, but you're like going
Can you
in
hear
and
me?
out. Mm-hmm.
Tell me when you can. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I think you're lagging because I'm unmuted. Can you hear me? Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. All right. So now it's like because they have to be on the computer longer, they're not really used to that yet. So they're like, some of them they're in their home, so they're like want to lay down, and they're like baby brother and sister, like okay, baby brother and sister is like, oh, I'm just gonna slap them in the face and
Oh
play
God.
with them while they're learning, and then the dog is coming, and it's just been a lot of distractions. Some of them they want to, you have to constantly tell them like sit up a little bit, focus. But I think for the most part, they'll they're slowly getting it. They're slowly getting there. A lot of them need redirection, but I think for the most part, they're getting it. They'll get it.
That's good. I was just wondering, while
They'll
that
get it.
question popped
Yeah.
up in my head, and I'm like, oh my God, like I'm just wondering how the kids are just
Struggle
handling,
is real,
all that, um,
man.
all that is going on. Maybe we'll visit that question again because I noticed that as well. Like um my daughter who likes her being around her friends, there was a time when she felt like, I don't want to say she was down, but she was yearning, that face to face,
So
yearning to
social
see
interaction.
the other children and stuff like that. So, but we'll revisit that. But back to the balancing act.
Mm,
Tiffany, how are you doing it? Because I know your schedule
um,
demands like your attention. Your line of
right.
work is pulling you. So how do you balance all of that?
Um, okay, so balance is something that I just learned. Well, it's a word that I have been exploring in my life right now more than I've ever done before. You
Mm,
know, even before the pandemic had hit, me having a 14-year-old who's super independent and owning a business, and it just be me and her to getting married and then having a baby, and now I have a husband and a baby and a 14-year-old in the house and
mm,
running the business. I wasn't. I felt like everything wasn't really working for me. I think life was happening, but I wasn't catching on quick enough.
right.
And then God just put it into my mind, like you have to have balancing. And one thing that I learned was, you know how in school the kids have block scheduling.
Hmm.
Does anybody's kids experience that?
That's like when like one period they have this and then one period they have that.
Right, but for like a long period of time. So like Maya would have math for 2 periods, or she would have English for 2 periods, and they'll have like a break in between the 2 periods, but it's still in one class with the same teacher. So I just
Yeah, that's
God
right.
put it in my mind, like Tiffany, you have to block out your schedule. Like if you're gonna be at work, you need to just be at work. Like you have 7 days out the week. Realistically, when can you be home? When can't you be home? You know,
Mhm.
you own a business and you want to keep it, so you just can't shut down. So you also have a 3-year-old and a 14-year-old and a husband. You have house chores. You can't neglect those. So I had
Mhm.
to figure out a schedule where Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday I don't work, and I'm just committing that time to house chores and school for myself. And then I'm helping to, pick up, drop off with Maya. And then Thursday, Friday, and Saturday and Sunday, I'm at work.
Mhm.
And I'm trying not to be there past 8 p.m. or I'm not doing 2 a.m. clients anymore. And so most importantly, I feel like block scheduling is really important and not mixing things up. Like I know at the salon, I tell my husband and my daughter, listen, I made dinner for the rest of the week.
Meal
I'm not
plan.
cooking. Yes, I'm not cooking. If I do, it's going to be something light. When I'm at work, I'm at work. I cannot be at work 12 hours a day and then come home and have to cook a full course meal, do laundry, do this, do that. So, yeah, block scheduling and trying to prepare my family. Teaching your family how to be independent without being, the mom in the house is important.
Yeah.
We're in a new era now where back in the day, women did everything. They worked, they cleaned the house, they cooked, and the men were just responsible for working. Now it's like, no, everybody has to do something in the house. It can't just be put on me to do everything after I've worked all day. So yeah,
Mm.
it's
So
it's not easy though.
Go ahead, Jojo. You wanted to say
Yeah, I
something.
was gonna say I agree with her so much that it's a time now that it's changing.
Mhm.
Like I love the term that you use, mompreneurs. Are you coining that? Can you
Yes, girl.
make sure you copyright that or something if somebody else has it? Because now that you have mompreneurs or working moms, I mean, it's been that way for a long time. So each family has to learn what works best for them. Like
Yeah.
for
Mhm.
me, I'll schedule things in terms of working or talking with clients in the evening time when I know my husband is home from work. So then he will be with the kids. You know what I mean? So like
Mhm.
like even right now that I'm on this talk with you ladies, he has the kids because there was a something he has to do with we have to do with family. So he has to take all three of the kids. And me seeing him have all three of the kids by himself is hilarious. I'm looking at him like I was like, look at Daddy Daycare. It was so funny. They're all together with the kids, so just seeing him. So that's gonna have to happen a lot of the times now that I'm stepping
Mhm.
out into my calling and what you know what I mean, what I'm doing. So I truly agree with her. Not everyone has to take on different hats, and that's
Right.
part of the balancing too.
Right.
In
Mhm.
terms of
Yeah.
finding time for yourself, like she said,
Yes.
finding that time to carve out. And for me, is that morning time. I'll take time in the morning
Yeah.
to meditate or to pray to really focus in for the day because I realize if I don't do that, my day is like haywire and I need to
Mhm.
balance that back in. So that's one of the things that I try to do.
Oh my God,
Right.
I'm here writing notes, okay? Because it's because one of the things that I'm hearing so far, and Shadiki, I'm gonna let you jump in after this, but so far it's like what I'm hearing is so key because just like you ladies so far, balancing this whole balancing thing is definitely new to me. So far I'm hearing support, the importance of support, whether it be your husband, whether it be your mom, your like right now I had to ask my brother, can you please take these children out of here while I do this? Because
Yes.
if
All of
not,
them.
okay, if not, the other choice was to bring them on with me, but support is key. Then you have organization. Now if I'm
Mhm.
honest, y'all, like organization was not my strong point before COVID. Okay, can I say thank you, Lord? Um, because one of the things that I am learning is organization. Everyone, you go there, I go here. From
Mhm.
from 5 to 7, it's all about me and meditation and taking time for you. When it's time to shut it off, discipline is the other thing. When it's time to shut it off, you shut it off. And then just the meal planning, like meal planning I took for granted. I'm like, I'll just cook then, but now having them 24/7 literally, I'm like, no.
I challenge the food thing.
Yes.
I haven't figured that out. I need
No.
to figure
You got
out
a
the meal
block schedule
plan
with
thing.
cooking.
I have to.
You
It's
Got
so
got to cook a lot of
important.
meals.
Hmm
got to, like, the grocery
Yeah.
bill is
Yes.
crazy.
Oh my God, like $800 a month on groceries.
That's
Every time you
ridiculous.
go, you
That's
spending a
crazy.
bunch of money.
So yeah, because of that, I'm like, listen, I'm making you breakfast, right? This is what you're gonna have. Lunchtime is at 12. Okay, you can have a snack between that and so it's like you really, just like at school too. They get 2 breaks and a lunch, right?
Mhm.
Oh, so we're gonna do that at home too. That's exactly what we're gonna do for my sanity, for their sanity. We're gonna work things out. But Shadiki, go ahead, tell us, how are you balancing everything? You just recently
Yeah.
became a teacher. When did you become a teacher? When did you start teaching?
Yes, I mean, I've always been a teacher in terms of I've always been in the education field. So I've never seen myself less than that, no matter if I was a substitute or an assistant
I know
teacher.
that.
And so I've always wore the teacher hat, but this is my first year actually being like a full time, I'm the head of my class kind of
That's
thing. And it's been awesome. But I'm telling you right now, like I said, sometimes it's like I'm in the middle of teaching and it's like, oh yeah, child walks in. mommy, la, 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 la. And I'm like,
and they don't stop.
can you at least give me a and, and I'm like, excuse me, guys, hold on a minute. And I have to mute. And then I'm like, okay, let me just, and then I'll come back. But I'm telling you, in terms of, I remember the last time we came on the live, and I said, I'll try, like you said, structure, like make it look like the same as school, right? But I'm telling you, let me tell you, there are times I'm like, listen, quick, fast, like, what do you want? Cereal or waffles, okay? Because
right. You got
I
two
need to be
options.
on. I need to be on at a certain time. And now I'm just like, I haven't really gotten sleep. Like I'm not used to staying up late, like more than once. And I'm like, so I'm trying to balance it out. But like I said, whatever you can't do for today, that's how I try to look at it. Whatever I didn't finish, tomorrow's another day, and tomorrow is another day, and that's fine. But you said something about, shutting it down. Like this, that's it. Especially because we're always on the computer. Oh my God. Like you have to know how to shut it down. Like, you know what? Even though I'm technically not in the work building, I'm like, after a certain time, I'm shutting this laptop down. I'm done. I don't even care. Whatever I didn't do, oh well. Tomorrow is another day. And that's it. So, but it's been very interesting now that I'm actually like really the head of my classroom and trying to make sure like it's like a beautiful mess. It's just like the children that they're teaching. It's like sometimes their baby sister walk in and the baby sister is slapping them on their face, and then the dog walks in, and then I'm like, can you like tell mommy or daddy to get the baby, And so it's just been a beautiful mess, but it's been awesome at the same time,
Yeah, we're gonna do what we have to do, right? And I believe that's why we're able to learn what it is that we're learning, because we're in it, we're committed. We're committed to being moms. We're committed to being business owners. We're committed to our careers. So within that commitment comes facing these challenges and being able to make life work. I think to sum it up, that's basically what it is. First of all, I think the greatest lesson or the greatest thing, advice, tip is to get your mind focused, get your mind right, get it positioned right to know that this is what's on my plate. Like this is the hand that we're being dealt, right? And then once you realize that, okay, this is what we're dealing with, then rolling with the punches, basically, for lack of a better word. As it comes, you're like, whoa. First we're like, whoa. Has anyone had a whoa moment yet where you're like, you know what, hold on a second before I lose my mind? Has anyone ever experienced a moment like that when you're like, when things become so overwhelming? I don't know. Am I by myself here?
No,
you're not. You're not.
Nora, remember I said last week, because that was the first week of school when they was trying to bombard us with so much information, and I'm like, Tiffany's gonna understand having a 3-year-old amongst all of that, 3 toddlers. Come on.
They don't care about anybody but themselves. They don't care about you being on a Zoom call. They don't care about your life, who's visiting you, who you're talking to. No.
Nope.
So last week was a hard week, and somebody would have had to come find me, because I was like, you guys would have had to come send out like APB, because I was going through it, and I was like, you know what though? I know that there's always the bounce back. First of all,
there's always a bounce back.
I'm a mompreneur. That's a beautiful mess. Thank you, Shadiki. You guys
a beautiful mess.
Some knowledge here. So yeah, I'm a mompreneur in a beautiful mess sometimes, and it's okay. So yeah, last week I went through that, but like she's, Tiffany, it just takes faith. Like you have to go back to faith and knowing that those times don't last forever. It's always the bounce back weeks, and thank God for this week. I felt so amazing, and then I learned the lessons when I go through those really rough times.
Right.
Yeah, because in those rough times, Nora knows I didn't grow up with a mom in my life, and she left when I was very young, and she had 4 kids at that time. So I almost felt her pain of how hard it is to take care of that many children. So that was almost leading me closer to my healing moment of, like complete forgiving. I've said I forgive, but now I can almost empathize, like
Yeah.
what we went through. So it seemed like God was showing me that in that week that I went through, and I was like, "This is overwhelming." And I have my husband here, and this is a lot. So sometimes look for the lessons in the moments, and when you're going through those things. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, that will definitely help. So one, being committed, right? Getting your mind positioned to know that you're committed, and then two, to be forgiving of yourself. That's what I'm getting from you, Josiane. I'm like Jojo. Jojo is what I call her, y'all. So y'all are family. So if you hear Jojo, that's because you're family. So what Jojo said, what Shadiki mentioned, you got to be able to say that it's okay. Marcia, hey Marcia, she's tuning in, and she commented that if it's stressing you out, take a step back, breathe, re-strategize, and then take a new approach. That if we want to talk about detail, right, the fine details, that's exactly what it is. Because oftentimes we hear like, oh, I was stressed out. Okay, what does that look like? And then when you did stress out, what did you do right then and there and then afterwards? So, okay, let's kind of like reenact Jojo, your week, right? You get hit and you're like, oh my gosh, right? You mentioned how with the kids, and then your husband is there, and what the re-strategizing part, right? How did that look? What did you
Mhm.
have to do differently based on what you said?
For me, honestly, I don't know if it was very strategic, but I had to something was leading me to find gratitude even in what I was going through. And I think that was what helped me. I had to come back to a place of gratitude, and I had to start being thankful for what I have right in front of me, even though it's like chaos at sometimes. My children are, even though they can be fighting each other, like Shadiki says, they're healthy and they're strong. And at least, I can see them every day and know that they're in a home that loves them. And so I had to be led back to gratitude. And then taking the time, like Marcia just says, taking the time to breathe and say, you know what? You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have it every single thing done. You can't have it all done. Some things have to be left for another day and another time, and that's very much okay. So sometimes you have to clear your plate and say, you know what, this can wait for another time, and just bask in the fact that just turn back into just loving your children instead of all the other stuff that's going on around, and loving your family and finding gratitude in that. That's what I had to do.
I like that gratitude. I just love when I come on here and talk to you. Gratitude is so powerful, right? As soon as you said that, I was reminded of this scripture that talks about how the joy of the Lord is your strength. And like when you dig deeper into that, like what you find is that there is strength in joy. Like whatever brings you joy, like gratitude like provokes joy, right? Being thankful kind of puts you in this mood of joy, of happiness. And then once you feel that, it's like, okay, I can get back up. Let me dust myself off. Let me wipe my tears and get back in the game. Or like Marcia said, re-strategize. So that's a great way to kind of round up the conversation, because I know this is Saturday. This is like one of those days, if you're like me, I want to take full advantage of my day off, right? So Shadiki, based on the challenges that you face with all of this, can you tell the viewers, what are some of those things that you are grateful for based on like maybe what you've learned, what you've observed? What are you grateful for?
Well, you know what? I was just thinking because one thing came to me was grace, right? And we need to give grace to others, give yourself grace. Because what I noticed is that in this season, right, everything is moving a little slower, right? And so it's like now it take 10 years just to, we're trying to make phone calls to places, or we're not getting through to the enrollment center. Okay, because my 3-year-old wants to be in school, and I'm trying to be patient. And I'm like, Lord, I'm calling these people, they're not answering. All right, and so I've been learning that everyone needs some grace at this time, and so we need to just be gracious. We need to be more understanding. All right, and so I'm just really thankful for grace. First of all, I'm just thankful for grace. And I'm just like, when I love when you mentioned that the joy of the Lord is my strength, because I'm telling you, even when I only got 3 hours of sleep, okay, it looked like I had a whole 8 hours, because it's the joy of the Lord that strengthens me. Literally, like I'm telling you, literally, like you would have thought I had like a good 10 hours, and I'm on the live with my students, like, all right, guys, it's Friday, let's go. You would have thought I had a whole 8 hours. No, I didn't. I think I only got like 5 hours of sleep yesterday or something. And so I've been grateful for the joy of the Lord, because that's what's literally been strengthening me these last few days. And we just have to just keep extending grace to everybody. Everybody, like everybody needs some grace right now. Everybody. So I'm just thankful for that.
God, God is definitely, for us believers, out here, us believers in Christ, one of the many of us are definitely learning how important it is to lean on what we've learned so far in our journey with Christ. Like we don't ever, at least I don't ever boast to know much of anything. You know what I mean? But what I do know is what I use to keep me going until I learn the next lesson. So far, and God has been faithful to where the challenges that I do face, I've noticed that, he brings challenges my way that will incorporate what I've learned so far, but at the same time stretch me enough to learn new lessons. So and I say that because moms out there, who are handling so much on your plate, just know that whatever it is that's on your plate, one of the indicators of it being on your plate is because there's something inside of you. Like, right, we talk about purpose, we talk about strength, courage, brave, we talk about a lot of things. So whatever you find on your plate, it's because there's something inside of you that was placed in there that is supposed to help you. So now the key is to find out what that thing is, what that lesson is, to find out what it is about yourself that is able to handle everything that's on your plate. If you're a business owner, it's because you can. It may not feel like it, but you can handle it. Just dig deep, dig in there and find out what you need to help handle. You're a teacher, you're a mom, or just a community member, okay? Because I went to the mechanic the other day, y'all, and even the mechanic, okay, who fixed my car was like, oh my God, he has no school age children. He lives by himself. He lives across the street from the school. So the other day, last Saturday before coming on, I had to drop my car. So he's like, see, look at them. They need to get it organized better. They need to this. And I'm looking at him like, even community members are stressing, even though they don't have like a firsthand, what do you call it, in students' lives or whatever, but they're still feeling what's going on. So you got this. I say all this because you got this. Josiane, Tiffany. I don't know, Tiffany, I don't know, ladies, is there anything else that you want to share with our remnant moms out there, or just people out there to help navigate through this season that we're in before we round up? Any last words, ladies?
I want to say something. I think it's important that we worry about who we also are connected to. You know, like it's so this week I had some challenging things going on in my life, and we have to keep toxic people, places, and things out of our spaces. We got to connect ourselves to people who have like minds, like people who are doing what we want to do or doing what we're doing. We can't, we cannot take on the world and its problems. We can only handle what God gave us strength to handle. Just this past week, I know for myself, I went through a rough week between my house and at the salon and in my social life, and it was all kind of connected. And one thing I got from it was that God said the practice of benevolent detachment. Basically learning how to let go.
Wait, hold on, Tiffany.
Yes.
You said benevolent. What'd you call
it? The practice of benevolent detachment. Basically learning how to let go and realizing that I want to help. I want to see you happy, but I'm not God. You may not be the person that I'm intended to help. Because you know why? There are so many other things and people that he wants me to help. And if I extend it to you, I'm stepping into his category of omnipotence or omnipresence and omniscience. And
come on now.
Yeah. I really think that, like this week, I had to say, I only have room. I only have the capacity, right? I'm learning. There's only two people I could probably argue with in the world right now: my husband and my mother. I don't have the capacity anymore to argue with a girlfriend, a kid, even my child. I'm not arguing with you. You're my child. You're gonna do as I say. It's like we can't waste our time with negative energy because it's distracting us from keeping the balance. I'm somebody who suffers. I'm not going to claim it, but it is what it is. I have anxiety attacks sometimes. I don't know where it came from. It just popped up when I got pregnant 3-4 years ago. And at times it'll flare up, like just my heart will start racing. Sometimes I'm up at night and I can't sleep. I have so much. The salon, my clients, my schedule, taxes, home, groceries, cooking, my girlfriends, trying to find time to spend with people, just everything. God, am I reading enough of my word? Am I praying enough? Who else can I connect to get with God closer? It's just a lot of things that my mind is always racing. I realized that, okay, I can't claim anxiety. It's not my anxiety. I have to manage my mind. So what's giving me anxiety? Somebody I start learning to listen to my body when I'm around certain people. Like, how's my spirit feeling when I'm around these people? If I go to this place,
girl, you
thank God for COVID.
Yes.
But thank God for COVID, because COVID gave us a chance to shut down and only make time for who's really necessary for us. Like Nora, I've been growing up together for a long time.
I think we'll have to extend this thing for a whole other hour. Oh my God. Because she's spitting some truth right now, and it's so true.
Yeah, man.
To focus on the things that were most important. Can you imagine? I birthed a business during the COVID-19. I'll never forget that.
Hello. Yep.
Listen, y'all dropping mics. That's all I have to say, because Tiffany's dropping mics. You're dropping mics, Nora. So
you dropping mics, JoJo. Tiffany, thank you for ending the conversation on that.
No, thank you for beginning the ending of the conversation. How about we begin another conversation?
With Tiffany on a whole nother thing, but it's all good. Yeah.
I want everyone to know right now that you see these people. We're gonna come back on here. Hopefully you ladies will join me again, because Tiffany, you started a whole nother maybe 45 minutes for another conversation, because one of the things that will definitely help all of us balance is to keep some of those things we don't need to balance out of away from off our plate. Something what's necessary and what's unnecessary, right? To handle, especially in these sensitive, I'm talking about sensitive, like this is like the times that we're living in is actually it's like basically survival of the fittest. You know,
Right.
those
Yeah.
people who are grounded, those people who I don't know, because I never knew I was one of those people that could stay afloat. But these are the times that it's testing whatever is in us. I didn't know that there were the things that I've learned within me. It took COVID to really school me on who I am. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Tiffany, oh my God. Like, one of the biggest lessons I'm learning too is that some of these people, they gotta go.
Yeah.
And there are
Places
some people,
too.
right, and there are some people that you haven't even had conflict, that people won't even have conflict with, but need to sit down and think about whether or not they should be in the inner
Right.
circle, right?
Right. Right.
So on that note, thank you so much, ladies. Yet again,
Mm-hmm.
I came on here. I was able to learn from you
Right. I
ladies.
got my notes.
I know, right? Look, I got mine too. Like,
Uh-huh.
real. So thank you so much, ladies, for coming on and sharing your nuggets with all of us. Thank you, Marcia, for tuning in. Amazing, amazing person. She's a mom too, and lo and behold, y'all, she didn't want.
Hey, Marcia.
Gonna pray for Marcia because she got a lot of nuggets to give out, but she don't want to come on like she needs to be, but that's a whole nother story too. But thank you so much. You remnants out there, keep on being fabulous. Keep on doing what you do because it is important. It may not seem that way, but for the truth that you're not the only person in this world living in this world. That means that what you do has an effect on someone else.
Yeah.
Whether it be your children, whether it be someone who saw you down the street, helping someone cross the road, you you are influential. Every remnant out there, you are influential. So please keep doing what you're doing. And as I love to end every show, before I say that, please again, like the videos, share the videos. Someone out there needs to know what it's like to balance and what to do to balance. So please share the video. And on that note, please go out there, find someone to love today because
Mm.
it could be a matter of life and death. So thank you so much, ladies, and you enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Bye.
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 Bye.